Today we are discussing the topic of silly mistakes. This is one of the most frequently asked questions by the students, that how to avoid or how to minimize the thing which is known as the silly mistakes, particularly during an MCQ type of exam. Now, what are these silly mistakes? I would say these are some kind of unforced errors that happen during the exam. Now, what do you mean by unforced errors? That neither the question nor the complexity of the subject nor the viewpoint or twist given by the examiner is making the error to happen, but out of nowhere the student is ending up making some error in the answer. But the good news is that this can be 100% avoided. Now, based on my experience and the experiences shared by students with me, I would classify the silly mistakes into three categories. First of all, the very commonly occurring error in a simple step of calculations. As somebody will say that it was 2 by 3, but I took it as 3 by 2, but end up losing marks. The second category, unseen options or partly seen options. Suppose A is a very convincing answer to the question, B and C options don't seem to be the right answers, and without properly looking at D or just overlooking at D, the student ends up marking A. But as soon as you come out of the examination hall, you realize that the D was a better, heavier option. Third category, that the question has been solved perfectly but marked wrongly. Like many students will say, sir, I solved it as C option. It was correct, but I don't know why or how or when it got marked as D. But all three categories end up in a loss of marks by the student. So there is a heavy cost in terms of marks sometimes and rank, of course. So the first thing that I will say is fear of the silly mistakes results in more silly mistakes. This goes up by my experience and the experiences shared by students with me, that the fear of the silly mistakes results in more silly mistakes. Once you start being scared of the silly mistake, that during the exam or before exams you are very conscious that I don't know how many silly mistakes are going to be there today, then you end up again having a few of them. But this should be avoided. This can be avoided 100%. This can be avoided. There is no fear. You can do better. All through your career you have done better, and today and in future you will definitely do better. Now, let me come to how to avoid these silly mistakes. There are certain points which I have written here and I would like to discuss with you. The first and foremost thing that I always rate very high is stay calm. Before the exam, during the exam, there shouldn't be any anxiety before the exam. Exam should be taken very happily. During the exam, one should be having very positive and very calm state of mind. Whatever hard work you have done, it is definitely going to help you in future. The second point, don't run into too much comparisons, particularly during the exam. As you are attempting the questions, don't think about others, how much he or she has attempted, how much less you are attempting, or by attempting this in this manner, how much score you are getting. Don't do this during the exam. It will just result in some kind of confusion and you may end up doing some silly mistake. Never be overconfident. See, a particular question may fetch you 4 marks, but only if it is solved properly, it is evaluated properly, and it is marked properly. So there should not be any kind of overconfident that this kind of questions I have done, I'm going to get it right only. Don't do that. So read it properly, observe it properly, solve it properly till the end. Only then you are going to get proper marks. Next point, don't get anxious if less time is left. What we call, when the teacher says last 10 minutes or last 5 minutes or last 1 minute, then suddenly you may get some kind of anxiety and start attempting the questions very fast, half-heartedly reading the question. So even if in 10 minutes you have attempted 12 questions, you are not sure how many you are going to get right. So definitely it also includes some portion of the silly mistakes. Stay calm only when last 10 minutes are left. You may have 12 questions left, Do those 4, 5, or 6 questions which you can do properly, absolutely with perfection, so that your score increases properly. And you always should strike the optimum balance between the accuracy and the speed which you are observing during the exam. Now, next thing, no overlapping thoughts. This is very important. Overlapping thought means some other thoughts during the exam which are not concerned with the exam, and thinking about the next question. Suppose you are solving question number 5. So, half heartedly, you are also looking at the question number 6 and question number 7, and it seems to you that they are easy and you will get them right. But in the process, you may end up doing silly mistake in question number 5. So, overlapping thoughts should be avoided. The next point I will say, no worries even if a couple of questions can't be solved there. Now, this is very, very important. Suppose you look at the question paper, question number 1, you don't know, question number 2, you may not know, question number 3, you're not sure. Okay, question number 4, you will solve properly, 5, you will solve properly, and this will go on. And if you observe a very calm state of mind, then towards the end of the exam, you come back to question number 1, read it again. Who knows, you may be solving question number 1, 2, and 3 again and getting marks out of it. So, this is very, very important. Then, the next point, share it out with parents and teachers openly and repeatedly. Don't be scared of the silly mistakes. Talk it out properly. First with parents, second with teachers, and keep on discussing the things. Small things, small tips they will give you, and also talking it out and sharing it out will give you some confidence again to avoid all the silly mistakes. Next point, very important, time bound study at home. Suppose at home you are doing 10 questions in 1 hour time at your own will. In the exam, you are supposed to do 10 questions in 15 minutes time. This will definitely have the impact on you, because adjusting yourself and your calculation and your speed of thinking within such a large frame will be difficult. So whenever you study at home or do problems, particularly MCQ problems I am talking about, do a time bound study. Select 20 questions from the book, take 20 or 25 minutes, solve them. Don't do any other question during that time. Then after 20 minutes, finish, stop it. Then you check the questions and see how many you have done right, how many you have done wrong. Those you have done wrong, take help from books and notes and get them right. So in this manner, a number of silly mistakes in the exams can be avoided. The next point I have written, keep your priorities on top and live into them. This is also a part of being calm and being very planned and focused. It helps avoid the silly mistakes, because even before the exam, when you are studying, and during the exam, when you are solving, you are very clear about what you are doing, what you have to do. So it definitely helps in a better performance. Next point, avoid going for the exam with a tired mind. This is very, very important. There should be a proper sleep, I think so, before the exam. And you should grow fresh for the exam so that your reflexes are very sharp and very accurate. So you know this could be the point of error, this could be the miscalculation, this could be the overthinking in a particular question. All this can be avoided and you will end up getting very good results. And now I want to sum up. Walk happy into the exam as a performer. This is very important. Happy is the state of mind you go into, and it definitely helps you solving absolutely perfectly. And then walk happy out of the exam as a finisher. Walk happy into the exam as a performer and walk happy out of the exam as a finisher. Now, how to be the finisher? 3 things I have written here. Finish reading perfectly or properly. Read the question very, very carefully, all the aspects which are given, relate the things, then finish the calculations properly. Don't leave the question in between. Don't assume that this answer is going to be there for this question till you have done it correctly. And then finish marking the right option at the right place. As I would suggest, suppose question number 10 you have attempted and the option is C. You are just going to mark C. Who knows, subconsciously it might have been B and you are marking it C. So give yourself 10 to 15 seconds. Have another look at the question, that is it C only which you have solved, then mark C. It definitely helps. Even if you are getting 2 or 3 questions more correct, avoiding silly mistakes, this is going to boost you. This is going to help your career. So all these points which I have discussed slowly, but this shall definitely help you. So I'm sure if you watch this video once, twice, thrice, again, and try to experience and try to observe all these points very seriously, next time you're going to tell me that you have not done any silly mistake during the exam. Till next time, thank you.